committed a lot of mistakes. I'm not proud of them. I've always had a very addicting personality, and it comes with its good and its bad, because obviously an addiction makes you want to do anything and everything in order to get your hands on whatever it is that you're addicted to. Now, there's different levels of addiction, I would say, and there's people who are ruthless and would do anything to get their hands on what they need, and there's other people like me who have morals, and even though they might be addicted to something, they're not gonna hurt somebody or harm somebody else in order for them to get what they're addicted to. But there are people who obviously would do that. They'll, hurt somebody, stab somebody, do all type of stuff to get their hands on what they need, because an addiction makes you do just all types of crazy stuff. There's medication that can help treat it. There's therapy. There's other ways to help you get over it, but it's obviously really hard. I mean, an addiction just makes you go crazy, and it's something that you develop amongst years or at least over some type of time. I think any extreme in life is bad. If you don't care at all for something, I think it's bad. You should care, but I think if you care way too much and you become obsessed with something, it is also really bad. And I would definitely recognize that as one of my flaws. I have an obsessive character, and when I set my mind to something, I won't sleep or rest till I accomplish it. So in terms, a lot of people can be like, oh wow, Patricia's very determined, Patricia is very ambitious. And yes, those are qualities that come with me being obsessed with a goal, but it's also kind of restless, because at the normal time that everyone's going to sleep, I'm still working on whatever I feel like I need to work on. So for example, for some time I became practically obsessed with my YouTube, and I would just not sleep. I was researching how to grow my channel. I was doing all types of videos. I was publicating stuff. I was doing thumbnails, like at all times of the day, at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, you name it. And I just became obsessed, and I obviously started eating bad. I wasn't exercising. I didn't want to go to work. I was just so focused on growing my channel that nothing else around me mattered. But that is what happens, because I have an obsessive character, and when I get obsessed over anything, when I start losing weight, I get obsessed, and I'm like, I can't eat anything until I lose my weight. And what happens? I don't even want to smell bread. I don't want to touch bread. I don't want to touch sweets. I don't want to touch anything, because I go like 100% into whatever it is that I do. So even though it does have its good, because it makes me very determined, and some people are like, wow, like you really grew your channel, or like, wow, you really lost weight, or whatever. And it's like, yes, I did accomplish something, but I do feel like I tend to sometimes hurt myself when I accomplish these things. There's other people who can just take it day by day. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of my YouTube today, and I'm gonna do a little bit of exercise, and I'm gonna do a little bit of this. And me, I'm just not like that. I feel like there has to be other people on my same page. There has to be other people who are just like one way. Like when you set your mindset to something, you go 110% towards that goal, and it doesn't matter. Now, there's people who would also knock down anyone who comes in their way, and that's not me. I'm not gonna knock you down because you come in my way, but I'm gonna try to move around you because I still want to reach, my final destination. With that being said, I've struggled ever since I was little with my weight, and I did post recently a poll on Instagram. If you don't follow my Instagram, by the way, it's in the link down below. And I posted a poll there and asked people if they wanted me to open up more about some of the stuff that I faced in my life, or if they just wanted more like funny content, because honestly, I want to make sure that I'm posting stuff that you guys care to see. At the end of the day, recording is what makes me happy. It doesn't matter what I'm recording as long as I'm recording. So I want to make sure that you guys are receiving the content that you subscribe to me for, because I have a lot of subscribers and I just want to make sure y'all are happy with the content. So a lot of people did vote for me to open up more about my personal life, for me to give more personal stories, stuff like that, rather than funny, which I actually thought it was going to be the opposite. And I was already planning pranks and challenges and stuff, which I still will be dropping because I like to keep it diverse over here. But I decided that I'm going to go ahead and start doing more story times. Now, I love opening up about my past, or about stuff that I've dealt with or that I currently am dealing with, in hopes that it will help somebody else. The reason that I do some of these videos is because I simply think that they might be beneficial to somebody who's going through the same type of thing. So I've definitely been wanting to do more videos like this for a long time. I just hadn't done it. Why? Because I'm still a growing YouTuber. I'm still upcoming, and I don't have a whole bunch of subscribers. I mean, I have a good amount, and I love you guys and appreciate whoever's watching this video, but I don't want to say but I definitely wouldn't say I have a crazy amount. Therefore, it's easy for people to come on my channel and troll, and I will definitely see that in the comment section. Why? Because my videos don't have a million comments. It's not like, oh, one comment gets shunned by 1,000 positive ones. No, if I see one negative comment, I'm gonna see it directly because I'm a small YouTuber and I read all my comments. So I guess I didn't really want to open up about some of my personal stuff simply because I was like, you know what? I don't want people telling me that I'm crying for views or that I'm giving out here pity stories for people to feel bad for me. Like, you just tend to think a lot of negative stuff because people are just so cruel on social media and you just never know. Thankfully, I've been blessed enough that none of my videos have received negative backlash, negative comments, people being rude or judgmental, none of that, which I 100% appreciate. And at this point, if you guys are watching this video, if you guys could please drop a heart just to show some type of positivity and love up here on my channel. But I'm very blessed. I've had very good subscribers so far and I hope to keep it that way, because at the end of the day, this is my channel and I want to keep it raw and real over here. At the end of the day, people are going to judge me anyway, so I might as well share my story and hopefully help somebody. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys about my addiction. And a lot of times when I talk about serious stuff, I can often smile or I'm like laughing, and it's not that it's a funny matter or anything, and this is something that I still face to this day. And it's so hard to break an addiction. You need help and you need medication sometimes, and you need other resources than just you telling yourself you need to stop. Yes, you need to tell yourself you need to stop, and then you need to go seek help. Now, sometimes I didn't want to seek help, okay? I went through a lot of different phases and roller coasters. It would be like a good month, a bad month, a good week, a bad week. It was just all over the place because why? Essentially, I was addicted. Now, a lot of people, I feel like once I say what the addiction is, are just going to be like, oh yeah, I'm addicted to that too. No, y'all, like, I went to the doctor for this. He diagnosed me with this. He tried to give me some type of medication for it. I went to like 6 different psychologists. Like, it was just a lot. So it's definitely a serious matter. And there's so many people who will tell you, oh, I'm addicted. Yeah, I'm addicted to water too. Oh yeah, I'm addicted to this too. Oh yeah, I'm addicted to perfume too. Like, they just mess around with it. Sometimes people just use the term addiction in the wrong context when they're just messing around with their friends. Oh yeah, I'm addicted to this hair color. Oh, I'm addicted to her YouTube videos. Oh, I'm addicted. And like, even though I don't mind when people say stuff like that, even though I know that they're using it in the wrong context, there are people who get upset when they hear that. I don't mind it, but I'm definitely aware that it's in the wrong context, because if you were actually addicted to it, it wouldn't result in something super positive, because any type of addiction can lead you into something bad. Now, I have always struggled, like I said, with my weight ever since I was little. For some reason, every time I had a problem or something didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, or I just felt stressed, anything of that scenario, I would often resort to food as my coping method, okay? So a lot of times if I felt sad, I would just eat a bucket of ice cream or just stuff I shouldn't be eating. Now, my mom was very strict on me with this. Like, she didn't want me eating a lot of food. She didn't want me gaining weight and stuff. So a lot of times I would sneak around, which is worse. Essentially, I feel like this all adds to my addiction. Why? Because I had to sneak around with it and hide it. And that's what an addiction is. You usually aren't just in plain sight doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. So I would hide a lot and I would go out and sneak food. I would literally like walk from my house to the closest grocery store to buy ice cream or like buy something fattening. I would go sometimes with like some of my friends, and then we would hide like in some bushes and stuff like that, and just like, not some bushes, but like in front of the bushes, like in the street, and just eat there because I knew that I couldn't bring it at home. Sometimes I would hide food in my workout bag, and then my mom would find it and be like, what is this? So that all, like, I feel like led to my addiction. Later in life, as I started growing, there was a point in my life where I got really skinny. I was like, forget it, like, I want to be really skinny. And obviously with my addictive personality and my obsessive personality and my obsessive character, I got really thin. I was 100 pounds skinnier than what I am right now. So my weight has always honestly fluctuated, but I was 100 pounds skinnier than what I am now. I felt really happy and I was just doing my thing. But like I said, obsessive behavior. It was like, I can't eat anything. I don't want to touch anything. I don't even want to smell bread. No cheat days, no nothing. To some people, it was like, okay, well, if that's what works for you, It was what worked for me in that moment, but at the end of the day, it was an obsession. It was an addiction. You know, like that's not good for your body. You need to do everything in moderation. Too much excessiveness of anything is not good. And I was obsessed with just being skinny. And I don't want to say it was something bad because I was really happy when I was skinny and I felt really good about myself and I looked really good too. Not that I don't look good now, but you know, it was just different. Now, after I got really skinny, I started having more problems and I didn't know how to cope with them. A lot of my friends would tell me, you know, stuff that they were doing which wasn't ethically correct. So I told them no, I didn't want to get involved in anything bad, and I just resorted back to my food, which had always been my coping method. Now, I should have dealt with this like in therapy or something, not just thinking that I'll solve all my problems by eating food, because that wasn't the correct way. At the end of the day, I would eat all this food and still have the same problem. Same thing goes when people tell me, oh, I just drink out my problems or I just smoke out my problems. Okay, but once you finish, your problems are still there. Thankfully, I didn't get addicted to something that was illegal because I definitely feel like the situations would be, because I definitely feel like the situation would be a lot worse if I was addicted to like smoking or like drinking or doing bad stuff. The situation could have like escalated to something a lot worse because the situation got escalated very quickly and very bad. But thankfully, even though I'm not proud of myself, thankfully it was just food and it wasn't something else. Me not knowing any better, I had recently got in a car. I was in high school. I was doing my thing and I started having a lot of problems at home. A lot of problems at home. I had a car and I would just leave and go get food, eat in my car, and a lot of times I wasn't even hungry. I wasn't even craving a specific thing. I just wanted whatever was fattening, whatever I used to have restrictions on, because when I was little, my mom used to be like, don't eat pizza, don't eat ice cream, don't eat this. So the minute I could get my hands on that, that is what I wanted. I wanted everything that I couldn't have when I was younger. So when I had my car, whatever was going on at home, problems, all that stuff, I would just leave and go get my hands on something that I wasn't allowed to eat when I was younger. A lot of times I remember I would sit in my car and order like those personal Papa John pizzas and just eat that and then go and try to get something else and I would be full. For those of you who don't know me, I get full really quick. You can serve me a whole plate at a restaurant and I can eat half and be full. But when I get into my zone, my addictive personality, and I'm feeling sad or whatever, I am going to eat just because I want to eat, not because I'm hungry. My mom also eats super little. Like if I eat half my plate, my mom will eat like 1/4 of her plate. My mom is naturally skinny though. Me, I can eat half my plate and I'll still always be on the thicker side on the scale. Still, it wouldn't be enough for me to be like obese, let's say. But since I did grab that addiction, it obviously led me to gain a lot of weight, which essentially caused me even more problems. I remember going to Krispy Kreme at night and then coming home with a box of donuts and just eating that. I would bring enough for the whole family, but a lot of times my family doesn't eat a lot, or at least my mom, which is the person I live with, she doesn't eat a lot. So essentially whatever I would bring home for her, I would end up eating. I know it wasn't good for me, but I was always like, what is one donut gonna do for me? What is one bucket of fried chicken gonna do for me? Like it was always that mentality. And then I see the pounds going up and I was like, it's doing. I'm always like, oh, what is it gonna do for me? Yeah, it's doing. Now, I knew things were really bad when I had this huge problem, which is like the biggest problem I've ever had in my life. It completely tore me down, broke my heart. I mean, I was in pieces, I was a mess, and nobody from the outside knew about it. I hope to eventually be able to speak on that situation in future videos, but just for now, I'm just going to kind of like keep it to myself. I also don't really want to make this video too long and it's a little bit hard to explain in a short amount of time. This situation was going on and I was a disaster, y'all. Like to get out of bed, it was a problem. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to change. I didn't want to do anything, okay? I wanted to be in this shell and I couldn't because I had to work. I had to go to school. I had to do a whole bunch of stuff. And essentially, I ended up dropping out of school. Like, it was just a huge mess, guys. And like I said, I laugh because I look back at it and I was just like, what was I thinking? But I remember old me and little me was just like going through it. So I didn't really know better and I didn't have that guidance to really like, tell me, like, I was being told that I wasn't doing it correctly, but I felt like, obviously, since it was my family who knew what was going on, they could sympathize with me, and they felt bad. They knew what I was going through, and they felt bad, and they were just like letting stuff slide. And I look back at it and I'm like, maybe they shouldn't have, because I committed a lot of mistakes. I committed a lot of mistakes. I'm not proud of them, and but I did learn from them. And at the same token, I'm over here saying that I wish they would have been a little bit more strict. But maybe if they would have been a little bit more strict, it would have caused the situation to be worse, because you don't know what you wish for until you have it. Me, my mom, and my brother in the kitchen, and we were talking. I was still really sad about the whole situation and everything. My brother has always been like really mature. He's like an example to me. He's younger than me, but he's still like an example to me because he's very mature. And I remember sitting like on a stepping stool, because we had one in the closet in the pantry, because we're all short in my house except for my brother, but we're all short. So we have like a little stepping stool in the pantry, and I remember sitting down in the pantry, and my mom had bought those white cheddar Cheetos. She liked to have them sometimes just if she had a craving. She doesn't really buy fattening food in the house at all, but that was like her craving for like a few weeks or something like that. So she had that. My sister was gonna come down from Puerto Rico. We were gonna have like a little get together with like 5 friends. So she bought the Cheetos for that event. And I remember my brother and my mom and me were talking, and we started talking about the situation. And I just took out the stepping stool from the closet, opened a bag of Cheetos, and just sat down and started crying in the kitchen. And like, I would cry all the time, so I don't want to say like that was, oh my god, super drastic. I just sat on the stool and started crying and eating Cheetos. And I was just like, so it doesn't really matter. Like, my mentality was so reckless at that point. I was just like, well, no one cares. Like, life is whatever. Like, and I'm just eating these Cheetos and crying and sitting on the stool and talking absolute bullshit. Pardon my language, but I was talking this whole mess, and my brother and my mom are looking at me like, oh my gosh, I'm talking this whole mess, eating Cheetos, crying. I was just a disaster. And I can tell that my mom and my brother were like, oh my gosh, but they were just trying to like not make me feel so bad about the situation. So they weren't trying to take away the Cheetos from me, and they weren't trying to make me get up from the stool. And even though, like I said, maybe they should have taken away the Cheetos, and I do believe that once I was like halfway done with the bag, my mom was like, here, mama, like, you know, let's go do something. Like, I know she was trying her best, so I'm not here to like speak down on nobody, especially my mom. But that's when I knew that things were really going bad for me, because just for me to do that in front of them, I later felt so embarrassed, y'all. Like, I want to do good and make my mom proud and make everybody proud, like my parents, my brother, my sister, everybody. I want to make everybody proud. I just want everyone to be happy around me, you know? And it just felt so embarrassing to me, especially like for a friend of my brother, because my mom, I know she had seen me at my worst. I feel like it felt so bad for my brother. Like, why does he gotta see me like this? Because a lot of times when my brother needs something, he comes to me. And even though I look up to him as an example, he doesn't know that, I guess. I tell him, but I feel like he doesn't know truly what an example he is to me. So for him to see me like that, I just felt so embarrassed, guys. And that's when I knew that I needed help. I spoke to my mom. I was contacting different therapists, different psychologists, and I went to a few. There was definitely the good ones and bad ones. There were some crazy ones. None of it really worked. Definitely when you want to get out of something, it has to be up to you. I remember the first psychologist I went to, I was just looking at my mom like, why am I here? And you know, you have to be open to help. I think at first I wasn't. A lot of times my mom would put me in these little like clinics, and it was for like losing weight, because obviously she could tell that that was affecting my self-esteem, because I was resorting to all my problems with eating food, and I had so many problems that I was eating so much food, and I was gaining weight like crazy. So she would put me in these little clinics, and they were so expensive, and I felt bad. And they did all type of stuff there, you know, and it had its good, but essentially you have to want to do it, because everything that they showed me at the clinic I can do right now if I wanted to, without having to pay, without having to, you know, they'll tell you certain things that are their tricks, which are just like obvious tricks. So it was just a lot. And then I remember in the beginning of the pandemic, obviously like that didn't make stuff any better, because I was locked up in the house eating. Now, at this point when the pandemic started, I already knew I had a problem with food, but I didn't know like the measure of it. Like I didn't know the extent of the problem. I just knew that I had a problem. I just knew that I resorted to food whenever I had a situation, but I just thought that that was normal. I was like, okay, some people resort to drinking when they have a problem. Some people resort to other stuff when they have a problem. So I was just like, this is just my niche or my like vice, and that's it. I didn't think much of it. Now, when the pandemic started, obviously it didn't help, and I remember another situation similar to the first one presented itself again, and it was just like hard. Like I don't know, I was just I would consider myself a strong person. I consider myself someone who can like recuperate from a lot of hurt and loss in life, but for some reason this situation was like killing me because it was present. It was there. I was living with this pain every single day, reminded of the pain every single day. Since I had gained weight, my self-esteem was on the floor, which made me feel like really, really bad about myself because I had never looked that way before. I had never been up 100 pounds, you know? I had always been up like 20, 30 pounds because I had lost 100 pounds. So I had always been up like 20, 30 pounds, but not 100 pounds. So I felt really bad about myself, which caused me to have like really, really bad depression, anxiety. I had like a whole bunch of stuff going on. Now, when you have anxiety or depression, you know that that person isn't entirely stable. I don't want to say that I was never entirely there. I would definitely say that even though if I felt like I wasn't entirely there, I always put the front that I was, and I always knew in the back of my head that I had to have my shit together, because if not, I was going to become a total mess. So even though I was really, really hurting with my depression and stuff inside, on the outside you would have thought I was the happiest girl in the room. So I was really, really battling this. I would definitely say that I was not the most stable person, but I was really, really trying, and I never portrayed it to anybody. And even though I wouldn't say that I was the most stable person, I did know my morals. Like, it's not like you couldn't leave me alone or that I can't get behind the wheel of a car. It wasn't that type of situation. I was stable in that sense, but I wasn't stable in the sense that if you left me alone for too long, or if my thoughts and me were alone, that I was going to start thinking bad stuff, because I really was. So I remember I was home alone one day, and obviously if you're unstable, you shouldn't really be by yourself. So I would consider myself unstable at the time, and I was home alone, okay? I would consider myself very much unstable at the time. And I'm in my house, so it's easier to feel that bubble of being unstable. It's easier to show my emotions. It's easier for me to sit here and just eat and be in my PJs and be thinking negative thoughts, because no one's going to judge me. No one is here. So I remember I was home alone, and this wasn't the best decision, but it's what happened that day because my mom had to go to work. And I was watching TV, and I was trying to feel better. My mom was talking to me every single day about like how I should feel blessed, about the things I need to do in life, and she would just try to give me like pep talks for me to realize how beautiful life is. And I'm so happy and blessed about that, and I truly feel blessed and fortunate now. But I remember back in that moment, she would send me these messages, and I would just look at them and be like, whatever, she doesn't get it, and that's that. I was watching TV in my living room, and I remember I was just eating, and I had told myself that week, in the beginning of the week, I was like, I'm gonna lose weight because this is gonna help me feel better. And I didn't know what to do anymore to feel better. There was nothing I could do. I could do my hair, nails, makeup, talk to 5 friends, talk to 10 friends, talk to whoever, and I wasn't feeling better internally. So I decided that what's next? I need a new change. I've tried everything. Let me try my weight. So I had told myself that I was going to start doing a diet. Now, when I was home alone, obviously feeling weak, feeling down, feeling sad, whatever, I get in my thoughts. I start having like these crazy thoughts, and I'm a very creative person, okay? So that has its good and its bad. When the thoughts in your imagination are bad, I'm gonna leave it up to y'all for y'all to think what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very creative, have a big imagination, but I'm full of negative thoughts. So I'm being creative, but in the negative field, which is not good. Overthinking every single thing because my anxiety was on 1,000. Overthinking the past, overthinking the future, overthinking the present. Feeling like I was surrounded by negative energy. I wasn't happy at the job where I was working. It was just not like good days for me. So what did I do? I felt way too stressed in that moment, and I started eating. Now, I remember we had like snacks and different stuff in the pantry, but nothing crazy. My mom never buys really fattening food, but I was making like sandwiches, and it wasn't even like I was eating. and then I just served myself another plate. It was just like a whole bunch of snacking. I was full, guys. Like, my stomach hurt and I was full. But it's like I would sit on the couch, get right back up. I had to have something in my hands. I had to have something in my mouth. Like, I could not function, y'all, without having food next to me, without having food close to me. And I wasn't hungry. And I know there's people who are like, oh yeah, when I'm bored, I go eat. Y'all, I wasn't bored. I was doing something. I was entertained. But I didn't want to do what I was doing without having food with me, which is not normal. So I remember when my mom came home that day, I started crying and things got really bad. And I just told her, I was like, I don't know why I don't feel happy if I don't have food next to me. Like, if food is not around me, I don't feel happy. I don't feel like I can do stuff. You know, I just feel weak, and it sucks because I don't want to keep resorting to food as my solution. Why? Because I'm gaining weight and then I feel worse about myself. So either route that I go to, I feel bad. And I told her, and I just started crying, and I was like, I don't know what to do. You know, I've gone to different places. I've looked up YouTube videos about it, which is exactly why I'm here, because I looked up videos about it and I could not see anyone who was in my same shoes. I was like, what the heck? Like, I can't be the only one in these shoes. And it just got really bad. Like, when I tell y'all, there's so many people who will be like, when I'm bored, I just eat. And I get it, because I've been there too. But then it gets to another point where it's like, I'm not bored. Matter of fact, I have stuff to do. Matter of fact, I got invited to do stuff, but I don't want to do it unless I have a snack with me, or because I rather just stay home snacking. Like, it just started affecting my day-to-day life. So I told my mom about it, and mom's eyes watered because she knew that I was struggling with this. Then she made an appointment with the doctor to see how she could help me, because she was like, I feel like she was at a loss also on how to help me. I would go and exercise and stuff, but I would come home and like eat. Like, this was an addiction, y'all. I remember I went to the doctor's office. They took my blood and stuff because for some reason, like, I went in there and I wasn't supposed to get my blood taken out, but they were like, we need to take your blood out. And I was like, okay. They took out like 5 tubes. I don't know. I almost practically fainted on the thing. Not being dramatic or anything. They literally had to lay me down, put alcohol like over here, stick like Hershey's Kisses in my mouth. Like, it was just one of those days. And I remember then he came in and he diagnosed me. He was like, you are addicted to food. I don't know how he saw that. I don't know if he saw that in the test results. I don't know what he saw. But he told me that, and he told my mom that. And my mom was like, how can I help her? And we came up with like a solution. There's medication for it, stuff like that. And I definitely think this is a sensitive topic to talk about, because there's so many people who could be like, food addiction, is that really an addiction? Like, there's so many people, and I know, because you know what, I've been there. There's people who can say stuff like, oh, I'm addicted to water, and you just, as an ignorant person, because I've been ignorant at times in my life as well, you're just like, how can you be addicted to water? I'm sure there's people who are like, how is she addicted to food? Like, she's just making that stuff up. No, y'all, like, I got diagnosed. I went to a doctor for it. And I didn't want this to be my addiction. I mean, yeah, I think it's better having this addiction than anything else, because at least this is not illegal. Essentially, I'm just eating like a whole bunch of fattening food. But I knew it was a problem because it started affecting me in not even just physical ways anymore. Okay, so at the beginning it was like physical. It was like, oh wow, I'm getting so much weight. I look ugly and stuff. And I go to the doctor and it's like, not only do you have an addiction, now he diagnosed me with something else, which I will also try to leave that for a different video. I don't think I'm ready to talk about that right now. He diagnosed me with a different condition, and that condition, I only have it because of the food addiction. So it started like affecting me health-wise and stuff, and it was just not fun. I cried for days, like, dang, like, why am I diagnosed with this? Like, I don't want to have this. Like, this is gonna affect me. This is gonna affect, like, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. But I honestly think that I'm starting to battle that addiction and like overcome it. I think that everything in life you can overcome if you set your mind to it, whether it is something illegal, whether it is just a bad vice, whatever it is. And that's what I plan to do with my addiction. I only shared my story because even though if you might not have a food addiction, maybe you have an addiction to something else, and that's okay. All you have to do is work on it. There's some people who know they're addicted to stuff before they even get diagnosed, which is also okay. You can still try to work on it. But if you feel like it's something really bad, then maybe you should go seek professional help. And no means am I a therapist or a doctor or anything. I'm just sharing my experience in hopes to maybe uplift someone else who's having some type of issue or some type of battle, because honestly it can be really hard. You have to be very careful because the more you wait, the stronger it gets, and it can often overcome your whole like sense in your body, the sense in your head, the sense that you have in general. Your addiction can overcome that, and you don't want to get there. You want to have control of your body. You want to have control of what's going on, what you're putting in your body, what you're doing to your body, stuff like that. So that's personally just my opinion and my story. I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time or this video, and maybe hopefully it helps somebody. Like I said, if y'all could please comment down below a little heart, just so I know that we're spreading love and positivity on this channel, and subscribe to my channel so that you guys don't miss out on future videos. I will be opening up a lot more, so just stay in tuned and make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. I'll see y'all soon. You never know what someone's going through, you know? So I'll see y'all soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.